Hello and welcome to another hand review session. We've got four hands to have a look at here. This is from an 18-seat Omaha high-low turbo sit and go. And anyway, let's get right into it. We're sitting in the big blind. Not a very nice hand, but let's see what happens. Okay. And the small blind limps in. Let's just check here. Hope our player checks. He does. Fantastic. Okay, now some people who are new to split pot games might think, hey, we've got a bit of a decent hand here. We've got a flush draw, we've got straight draw, we've got top pair. But in Omaha High, in general, we're still fairly weak, relatively weak. Although, given their player limit, he probably doesn't have a suited ace. But in a split pot game, in particular, we're exceptionally weak. With that low draw on the board, there are 16 low cards that can come on the turn that will complete a low draw. So if we try to play here, we're playing for half the pot. Basically, we want to see if we can get to the river as cheap as we can. Let's see what happens. Okay, our opponent checks. Our player checks behind. Good stuff. Okay, interesting turn card. Let's see what happens. Okay, so he checks to us again. Now, what I like to do in this spot sometimes is, semi-bluff here. We've been checked to twice. We've got a few outs. A flush draw, it's small, but it might be good. But we've got some straight outs. A queen. We add a queen to the 8 that would also give us a straight. So I'd put out a bet about half the pot. It's sort of somewhere in between a semi-bluff and a value bet. Anyway, let's see what our player did. Okay, he checks behind. It's not a huge mistake. It's just a spot where you can pick up a little bit of value. And we've made a flush, and our opponent comes out, bets 415 or 300 pot. This is a small pot. It's not an important stage of the game. There's no point trying to find out if he's bluffing or not. A flush may be good. Maybe he's got deuce 4 for the nut low only. Whatever the case, it's not worth fighting over. Our hand's weak. Let's just give it up. We certainly don't have the odds. Let's see what our player does. And he folds. That's the correct play. Okay, let's move right along. Okay, here we are again. In the big blind with a decent hand. Let's see what happens. Okay, a short stack is shoved for just over 4 blinds. Folds to us. We're getting nearly 2 to 1. What about 1.8 to 1? If any of those of you are new to the game, at those kind of odds, we'd call fairly wide. We'd call even if our low wasn't even as good as an ace-3. We'd ace-4, ace-5. As long as we've got some sort of low, we've got good odds. Let's hope our player calls. And he does. That's the correct play. Fantastic. All right, let's move on to the next one. Okay, here we are again. We've made it into the money. Money starts in 4th place in these 18-seat sit and goes. So we're in 3rd. We've got a very short stack here. We've got just under 6 blinds. We've got a pretty reasonable hand. We should be jamming this hand. And look, I'll show you why. Let's plug this into a simulator. And let's assume our opponent calls with any hand that has 2 low cards in it. We're basically coin flipping. In fact, some players are going to call with worse hands than that. They're going to call with some high-only hands. That improves their equity further still. So, yeah, we're only a few % behind in terms of equity. The ante's in the pot. And the fact that we've got some fold equity. In fact, if we have 4% fold equity, we're dead even. You've always got at least 4% fold equity, even when you're only got under 6 blinds in your stack. So yeah, let's hope our player makes the jam, and he does. The correct play. Brilliant. Okay, just one more to go. All right, it's the very next hand, and we're in the big blind. We've got a shockingly bad hand. I mean, our jam worked before. Obviously, we slightly chipped up from the antes. With around 6 blinds in our stack, we don't like our hand much, but looking at the size of the stacks of the other 2 players, we can't sit around and wait. If someone jams on us, we're double suited, so we've got to call. If this hand wasn't suited at all, then I wouldn't mind a fold, because, you know, one double up and we're right back in it if we wait, you know, one more hand. But, you know, even though we're only playing for half a pot most of the time, we've got to make this call because we're frankly desperate. Okay, button jams. Do we call? Yes, player calls. Correct play. Okay, this is another one of the videos we do where we review some of the hands of our players that we work with. Our players come and watch these videos. They know who they are when they watch them. If you'd like to know more about the coaching and staking and bankrolls we offer for players to play Omaha high-low, then check us out at Teamo8.com. Until next time, bye for now.